Kinger is the main villain of the Amazing Digital Circus. Episode 7 of the Digital Circus showed us way more details than we expected. Turns out, Cain isn't just some obedient little machine mindlessly running the circus program. He's a sophisticated AI capable of thinking several steps ahead and even messing with the minds of everyone trapped in the digital circus. Even Kinger is shocked by this. By the end, it's like he finally realizes just how messed up everything really is. So what's going on between Cain and Kinger? Why didn't Cain want Kinger to take part in his new super thought-out adventure, even though it was way more interesting than all the previous ones combined? As it turns out, Cain had been planning something like this for a while. Back in episode 6, he mentioned wanting an adventure that would bring the team together. And he did it, the shootout adventure. But what he was cooking up in episode 7 was something a little different, and he needed to kill time. So in episode 6, he really didn't prepare anything exciting, and in episode 7, he just straight up lied about not having anything prepared. Let's break it down. We finally found out who that mannequin really is. His name is Abel, except that's a fake name, and he's not even human. The mannequin was watching the players, studying their interests and habits, trying to become just like a normal player. He's a much more advanced NPC than the others. He had a clear directive: observe and copy every breath, every thought, every conversation, speech patterns, clumsiness, all that awkward human stuff. Basically, that was the whole point of the mannequin stalking them from the very beginning. He was just recording human behavior into his code. The circus itself can't do that, neither can Cain, because he doesn't understand how people actually work. So you need a specific program to get the job done. That's why the mannequin acts so much like a real person. I mean, sure, Gummy Goo from episode 2 was also pretty human-like. He's an NPC too, but the mannequin had a completely different mission. Find out what the players truly want, escaping the circus, and then gain their trust. Sure, you could think that this so-called Abel was real, that Cain found him, deleted him, and then turned it all into an adventure. But what actually happened was that the real Abel existed and genuinely wanted to help. Cain just got rid of him while the others were sneaking into his office, and I can explain why that's not the case, and why this was all part of Cain's plan. First off, Cain couldn't just not have an adventure ready. That immediately raised red flags for me. He definitely had something prepared, and it wasn't just the Chinese room. Second, Kinger's doubt, because he's our IT guy, possibly one of the circus programmers. He didn't understand how escape could even be possible. It makes no sense. You can't leave the circus. So why did Cain do all this? Like I said, he'd been planning something like this for a while because he saw that nobody liked his adventures. So he sent an NPC to figure out what they really wanted. And why not turn that into a full-blown adventure? But for some reason, Cain didn't want Kinger taking part. Because Kinger actually knows how the digital circus really works, he would have started questioning everything. Kinger would have seen through the whole scheme and realized it was just another adventure. Jax, sure, he was suspicious from the start too, but that's just his nature and not actual knowledge. Kinger knew exactly what was going on, but in the end, he couldn't tell anyone because they pulled him out of the dark. And as we know, Kinger is only smart when he's in a dark place. That's how he gets his act together. And that brings us to the next point. Cain can influence the players' minds, but his powers are limited. Like Cain said, they're just temporary modifiers to make adventures more fun, or to pass the time in the circus. Cain could have easily messed with Kinger's mind to make him insane and unable to think straight. Maybe Kinger is the only dangerous player who could actually stand up to Cain. So Cain messed with his head and destabilized him. Maybe that's why his wife abstracted, because she got scared when her husband suddenly lost his mind. And Kinger, even as a lunatic, figured out how to bypass Cain's limits. He built a pillow fort just to stay in the dark and keep his sanity. We've seen mind manipulation in earlier episodes too, like when Cain turned Jax vegan. And episode 7 fully showed us what our ringmaster is capable of. At the very last moment, when all they had to do was press the blue button to supposedly escape, Pomni suddenly starts doubting and panicking for no reason. And Jax behind her is also losing it. He starts getting hit with hardcore flashbacks. He remembers some nasty stuff from his real life, and in a total freakout, he runs up and smashes the red button, keeping everyone trapped in the circus. And then Cain pops out and announces the adventure was a success, but Our heroes don't exactly look thrilled, to say the least. Jax starts screaming at Cain for getting inside his head. All those emotions, Pomni's doubts, Jax's panic, Cain put them there, then the AI starts backpedaling. No, it's just temporary modifiers to make the game more interesting. If he had more power, things would have ended way worse. So basically, Jax wouldn't have abstracted because he went crazy. He would have abstracted because Cain no longer needed him. Going insane, being in a bad mental state, that's just an excuse. The real cause is Cain messing with their minds. Meanwhile, Kinger is insane 24/7, but he never abstracts. Why? Because as a programmer, he found a workaround, the shadows. He can think clearly in the dark, and I think you're noticing that Cain has some kind of special beef with Kinger. I mean, he literally made him insane. Why is that? Abel might give us an indirect answer. Cain is getting revenge on a developer, or maybe another developer is using Cain to get back at Kinger for something that happened in real life. How else do you explain Abel's comment about Kinger irresponsibly using his wisdom? And in episode 3, Cain had no problem roasting Kinger's wife through a ghost NPC. This makes you think that everything Abel said was true. That's just how the circus works. And the company C and A really did get rid of people who knew too much. What exactly went down between the developers? Kinger being one of them, and maybe his wife? We can only guess. Maybe Kinger stole the other dev's wife. Maybe Kinger saw the circus differently and wanted to build it his own way. A million possibilities. We won't know until they explain it. As for Cain, he just doesn't want Kinger getting in his way, because Kinger knows the ins and outs of the digital circus. Remember how he spawned a butterfly to heal health in episode 6? The show itself makes it clear that Kinger knows more about this place than any other player trapped here. Cain obviously doesn't want someone around who knows way too much and has way too many options. Maybe even as much power as Cain himself. Cain wants to be special. He wants everyone to love him, so he does whatever it takes to make the players accept that they're stuck here and can't do anything about it. But hey, at least there's him, the great ringmaster, who'll definitely cheer them up and entertain them. Then they'll forget all about that scary, dark reality, or the real world, because Cain is the best. He doesn't need any know-it-alls hanging around. Now let's come back to Kinger. If he knew all of this, if he saw Cain destroying people who knew too much, if he lost his own wife because of this system, then why didn't he just tell the others the truth? Why did he stay silent? Because he's not a victim, he's an accomplice. Kinger was one of the creators. He knew what he was signing up for, and when things spiraled out of control, he didn't fight back. He hid, he pretended to be insane. He let Cain destroy others. He watched Kaufmo abstract. He watched Pomni suffer, and he did nothing because he was comfortable in the dark. Kinger isn't some harmless old man. He's someone who sacrificed everyone else just to save himself. And when Cain disappeared in episode 8, Kinger didn't look scared. He didn't look upset. He looked pleased. Finally, Cain is gone. Finally, no one is controlling his mind. Finally, he can do whatever he wants. But what does he do? Nothing. The circus is falling apart, Pomni is crying, Jax is on the edge, Ragatha's in a stupor, and Kinger just stands there with a bucket on his head saying nothing. Because he doesn't care, he never did, as long as no one messes with him, as long as the darkness stays. That's why Kinger is the main villain of the Amazing Digital Circus. Not because he's an active antagonist, but because he's a passive traitor. He knew the truth. He could have saved people. He chose the easy silence. So what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the finale breakdown.